Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Janet, and this is Diaspora Doodles, where we give you the fact and not fiction about teaching. Today, I'm very honored to bring on my esteemed Oye. She's here because I was fortunate enough to find her on my channel. So she dropped a comment, just like I tell people to drop comments because it's a big family and there are not many people who look like this. So when you drop comments and we get onto your comment section and we see that, ooh, we love this, we get to collaborate with you. And today I'm collaborating with someone who shares a lot with me. She's an international school teacher. Do you know what? I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello, Janet. It's good to be here. My name is Onyinye Anikwe, and I am a Nigerian based in the UK. I have 14 years experience teaching, and I spent 8 of the 14 years working at an international school in Nigeria. I am UK and US certified, and I am also a YouTuber. So my content revolves around skincare and lifestyle. The name of my channel is Uni Anikwe. It's good to be here.
And we're so happy to have you here. We want to all look gorgeous like you do all the time, flawless. I saw your profile picture and I was like, hold my tea. That's a teacher. This is a Nigerian teacher. She's repping all over the world. So kudos to you on that one. However, I want to scratch your brain today because my audience is filled with people who are inspired by people like you and me, and we have a lot to tell them. So I'm going to start my first question by jumping right in and asking you, tell us about your journey into international school teaching in Nigeria, because it's not one of those, there are lots of international schools in Nigeria, but your school is the real deal international school with all the expat teachers and all whatnot. So I'm going to let you just tell us a little bit about your journey into international school teaching in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. So I would say I'm not one of those teachers that actually started out wanting to teach. I have a bachelor's degree in applied geophysics. Shout out to all the Malabites and Malabresses out there. I schooled in Unical. So after I finished, I moved to Abuja when I got married, and I met an old friend whose mom was a teacher. So that's how my career into teaching started. So her mom encouraged her to go teach at a school close to where we were living at the point. I know you know Caro very well. I was staying in Caro, Caro Federal.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That's my joint.
So he told me about it, and I decided to just, when someone is going for an interview, I just decided to tag along. So I decided to tag along. I wasn't really interested, and then went through the interview stages. By the way, math is a strength of mine. I love math so much. So of course they gave us, the way Nigerian interviews usually are, very, very serious. It's like you're writing an exam. So I did well in the first stage of the interview. I mean, the application process. Yeah. So I was invited for the interview. And I remember the principal telling me that I had to go get NTI, National Teachers Institute. Um, it's a body that, teachers that educate teachers. Like you could get your certification to teach from NTI, not certification now, but the training you need to be able to become a teacher with NTI.
Yes.
And since my first degree was not in teaching, I needed to, do something to bring me up to speed with someone who did a BSc in education, and that would be to do my PGCE, and that's one of the programs that NTI offers. I decided not to take that job because, as far as I knew, I didn't want to be a teacher. So, but eventually, he called me back. Thank God he did, because then as I began to teach, and I just began to fall in love with the profession. And then I did 6 years at that school, and then got the opportunity to move on to a different school, which happened to be an international school. At that point, I was employed as a teaching assistant. I became a teaching assistant there, and I did that for about 5 years. And in the course of the 5 years, I had to do a lot to be able to move up to being a teacher at the school.
Wow. Okay. Hold my tea. Hold my tea. You've just, it's like you hit so many things on the head that I'm always preaching about. You don't have a background in education, but look at you now, and you've come through the US, the UK, Nigeria. Oh my God. So why did you go through being a TA first? Was it because you wanted to ease yourself into the profession?
Okay, actually, at the school, like I said, it's an international school. So there were certain requirements to be a teacher, one of which is you have to be certified. That is, you need to be licensed in either the US, the UK, New Zealand, and I think Australia, and I think South Africa. Yes, you need to have that license to teach in these countries to be able to teach there. So although I had the NTI, which is the PGCE, I still didn't have those license. So I had to be employed as a teaching assistant.
And would you say you enjoyed going in through the teaching assistant route
Yes,
instead of just jumping in at the top?
absolutely. Because I think what being it starting as a teaching assistant does for you is because you're attached to different teachers. So there's always the school kind of reshuffles, moves you from one class to another. And what that means is more like you're doing a teacher training without really
Thank you.
paying to do the teacher training. So if you're someone who knows what they're doing, you're going to be observing different teachers. Like I worked with one of my teachers I worked with, her strength was with differentiated instruction and classroom management. I picked that up quickly. The first teacher I worked with, her strength was with her handwriting was amazing. Like she has a very good handwriting. And when
Wow.
she does her anchor charts, so anchor charts is more like an interactive thing you do when you're working with kids. You write on the anchor chart for those who are not teachers. In fact, if you walk into her classroom, you see the anchor charts hanging up, you fall in love with them. So I picked up that skill. And she was also good with reading. So her read alouds are very interactive. And she gets into the character while she reads. So working with as a teaching assistant with different teachers afforded me the opportunity to learn different strategies from different people. So more like I was being trained without really paying for the training. So most of
Yes.
the teachers I worked with were from different countries as well. So I was also picking up different styles, methodologies of teaching that they've brought with their wealth of experience from different countries and all that. So I think working as a teaching assistant gave me the opportunity to learn, because in the Nigerian school, I'm not saying that Nigeria we're doing amazingly well in terms of the curriculum and
Yes.
all that, but sometimes the
Yes.
delivery, the method of delivery, and there are certain things we actually do in the Nigerian schools that we're not really aware that we're doing.
Yes.
So, listening to these people, observing them, working with them kind of also boosts your confidence. Like you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm actually on track and all that. So, yeah, I enjoyed working as a teaching assistant and I took advantage of it. Another thing I did that helped me. So, one of the things we working at international schools, especially with expatriates, is that if you're really good, they'll give you your flowers. If you deserve something, you earn it. So they're observing without you really knowing that they're observing you. So with international schools as well, another thing I enjoyed is the fact that they are really big on professional development. So they dedicate at the school I was working with would dedicate Fridays to PDs. So we don't do anything on Friday afternoons. Once kids leave at 1, teachers spend time, interacting with each other. So what I did as a TA was each time I go for a PD, first of all, I developed a cordial relationship with the teachers I work with. So each time I go for a professional development, I come back and tell them about the course I did and then think about how I can apply to the classroom. So I'm like, oh, I just learned about F&P, how to assess kids on, because American curriculum, we use Fontes and Pinel to assess
Yes.
for reading. Oh, we just got trained on Fontes F&P, and I would like to try the kids. So I'll come back to the classroom and try to implement some of the things I had learned in the trainings in the classroom. That was not my rule. Like I remember back then, some TAs would be like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not paid to do this." But I found that as a way to also groom myself. So with that, I'll do like stuff like that. When I go for PDs, I try it out. And then, like I told you, I like to draw, and I picked up doing anchor chats. So one of the teachers I worked with, I would say, "Oh, can I do the anchor chat?" So when you interact with the kids, I could do the anchor chat. So I was not just a passive person in the classroom. I was completely involved in the learning. And at the end of the school year, the teacher also gives a form of assessment, you know.
Yes.
So all those were good words they were all putting in for me. I'm also good with technology when it comes to technology in the classroom. And I jump
Right.
at it when I get the opportunity to just show my skills and my expertise, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, that's it basically.
You just touched on so many things there. You were adaptable, you were flexible, you were ready to learn, your communication skills were on point. And this is something I always tell people who are looking to teach in the diaspora. Soft skills like this take you a long way. And you don't know, but they're watching you every single minute of the day. They're vetting you. I mean, I've had to vet people too, because as soon as I came to the other side, it was my job to also vet people who were coming in. So you sort of imbibe the culture and you start vetting people, and they start asking subtle questions. Even so, your teacher had to vet you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would ask other teachers as well. So, what do you think about that? They'll give them forms to fill, and you never know. It's just little things that you do every day that just adds into it all.
Yeah.
So, I can see that you've come on this journey and it's been really, really good. But why did you have to get the license if you were doing all this and you were getting vetted and all that? Did you still have to do the license, or could you just waive it and say, oh, I'm already in there?
So I had to do the license at the, like I said, it's an international school. it-
Yes.
I have to do something extra for me to be able to get to that position, right? No one is going to just, hand you anything like that. You have to really prove that you've earned it. So I went through the process because I have big dreams and I like to put in my best in whatever it is I'm doing. I was aspiring
Great.
for that teaching position. And I knew that the only way I could get there was to equip myself with the skills I needed. So at the point I was a TA, and at that school at the moment, it's changed now. TAs didn't have any professional development funds. So
Right.
I had to do my master's. I did the master's with the University of South Wales. I did every process I did to be able to get that license and to be able to develop myself as well. I did with my own funding, and it wasn't an easy journey. But I mean, I felt that's is an investment I'm making in myself, right?
Yes.
So I had to prepare myself for the opportunity. The opportunity did not drop on my lap when
That's
it
true.
happened. And how did it even happen? So with everything I had gotten when I got my American license, because I got one and then it expired. I got one from the state of Hawaii, and then when it expired, the policies in Hawaii had changed, so I had to do a reciprocity to get another one from Iowa, right? So when I got my first teaching license, I was excited about it, and like every excited international teacher, I decided to apply to a school in Vietnam, and I got their attention, although it didn't go through to the last stage, right? So, but before I got the, what's it called, the reference from my principal, she said she needed to observe me because she wasn't going to write a reference
They
without,
never do.
she needed to be honest in the reference. Now, all the skills I had picked up while being a TA that was involved came really handy. So she came in to observe me that day and she was blown away. Like she was blown away. So at the end of that school year, she called me to her office and said she wanted to pair me up with another teacher who would mentor me because she felt I had a lot of potential, right? So she moved me to a different classroom. And then I worked with this teacher for 2 weeks and she goes, no, 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 no. This person shouldn't be a TA. She's way above a TA. And then she went back to the principal to say, I think this person is ready to step up. And, when she made that recommendation, she just made it, when people talk in passing, like they're friends. So they were just
Yeah.
chatting, the
Yeah.
way friends chat. And then, thankfully, I would say I kind of owe everything to God too, because He kind of orchestrated everything, right?
Yes.
So it happened that there was an opening at the point. At the end of the year, those who will be leaving had indicated that they were leaving. So because I had the license, I also had been recommended by somebody that the principal really, held in high regards. I just naturally fit to that position.
I always talk about how mine took 15 days as well. I came in, and because I'd been in the system before, me moving to a different country and they were vetting me and all that, after 15 days, you're like, please hire this woman before she goes. Because I'd already started applying to other schools as well.
Yeah.
And it was because I was applying and I needed reference from them and all of that. They were like, where are you going? You're staying here. You cannot go. We cannot let go of someone like you. So it's always a good thing. I always try to tell people, especially people I mentor, be proactive. Don't wait to be told. Be flexible. Be adaptable. Let your communication skills speak for you. And when you put all these things together, do you know what? Mine happened with a chat too. They were chatting. Oh, this role has just come up. Let's not even advertise it. We're just going to ask this woman to just stay. And I had already applied to another school, but I still left them, but I came back to them later after I had finished my training. So it was a beautiful thing. But I'm happy that it's resonating with your experience as well. So did you get you say you're in the UK on a supply job right now. Did you
Yeah.
get the supply job from Nigeria, or did you have to come to the UK to get a supply job?
Actually, the process started from back in Nigeria. Yeah. But the particular company I was in touch with didn't have jobs or schools here in the location where I am. But I was able to get another one within 3 weeks of my arrival in the UK.
Wow. And would you say it's your experience from Nigeria that that opened that door for you, like slammed the door open for you or something?
I have had to reject some agencies actually. Like I've had agencies get in touch with me from LinkedIn, and so I would say my experiences and my credentials, I think.
Okay, so since supply teaching is the same as substitute teaching, are there other ways for people to access supply teaching or substitute teaching in the UK?
Yeah, in the UK, I think it's basically through agencies. Yeah, it's agencies, but there are loads of agencies. Yes, there are loads of agencies, and they are always there on the lookout for both teaching assistants, support teachers as well, those working, because there are a lot of, since COVID, there's
Yes.
need for a lot of support with kids, right? So,
Oh my God.
teachers to work one-on-one with kids, and so there are loads of opportunities with agencies. It's just having the right, even for people who do not really have educational background,
They will take you.
as long as you have a BSc, agencies will take you. It's then when you get on the field that you then need to prove yourself, because those kids will definitely test you. They will test you.
Um, Say it again.
So
Say it again so they can hear you in the back. They will test you.
and it's
In fact,
completely different from back home. There are lots of policies, safeguarding policies, and so many things. There are certain words that,
you cannot
um,
use.
yes, there are certain words that to you, might, for Nigerians, not a big deal, but when you use it in the classroom over here, it's a big deal. So there's still a lot to learn for people who don't really. I kind of feel like working at an international school kind of prepared me for what I met
Yes.
here. And if I
Yes.
say that some things still shock me, then imagine someone who is coming from a straight Nigerian school into this place. So it's not about, because I know with UK and policies right now, a lot of people are looking for ways to, stay back. And people are beginning to think about moving into teaching. But the thing is, if you do not have the passion for the job, I'll advise you don't even bother, because Working with kids here abroad, anywhere abroad, is the easiest way for you to get in trouble. If you
Yes.
if you don't get things right, you get in trouble because here is their word, the children's word
Against
against yours. And they listen to kids a lot. And then
preach.
the kids, like in Nigeria, we're taught to be very respectful, all those values you think you hold on to. And you feel like a kid maybe cannot call you by your name, a kid cannot say certain things to you or behave in certain ways to you. You have
They
to
will
just
do it here.
like they will do it and do it times 10, especially when they really notice that
Oh
it's getting
yes.
you. They will,
Yes.
do it and encourage their friends to do it as well. So it's yeah, teaching is not for everyone. It's not. It's really not for everyone. So if you don't have the passion for the job or for the profession, please don't don't
And
come
I
in.
think this is exactly, and this is why I advise people going in a support role.
Exactly.
Spend 2 weeks, 2 months in a support role, then dust out your CV and say, okay, actually, I was doing support to observe, but actually, I have this qualification, and you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
that the 2 months you'd have spent observing will give you a good insight into what you're going to do. Have you ever been called a monkey in the classroom?
Oh,
Question.
I haven't been called a monkey.
Really?
But no, I haven't. I haven't been called a monkey,
You're
but I've
lucky.
been asked to shut up. Like, shut up. And it was so funny. You know that moment when you think of what fight to pick and which one to leave. That was my situation that day.
My spiritual mind picked up my slippers and I wanted to fling it, but my physical mind just stood there, smiled, and said, when you're finished, when you're finished, I know you're having a bad day. And when you're finished, I'm right here and then we can talk. So I'm just going to give you 5 minutes and I'm going to walk over there. As soon as I turned around, all the words in Yoruba that my mother would have said to me were rolling through my head. And I was thinking my mother would have thrown her shoe at me for saying, who called me a monkey? Go back to Africa, you monkey. Wow. It's working in the diaspora. Do you know what? Nothing has tested my patience and helped me grow as a human being as much as working in the diaspora. Because when you grow up in one system, and then you come into this system, it must be hard. It must be really, really hard, because we were taught to respect our elders. We're taught to at least be civil, even if you have ideas in your head. Keep it, think about, let it roll around your head before it comes out of your mouth. But it's a learning curve, and yeah, it's one of the reasons teachers are leaving the profession. But in leaving the profession, we who have this skill coming from that culture, I believe that's where we are needed. And I'm an advocate of go where you're needed. So it's the perfect time for us to come in and, bring our own little skill from there and learn it, add it to theirs, and just create something beautiful from it. So yes.
So for teachers who are looking to work in the diaspora, I would
Yes.
say that if you have your NTI is enough. And if you don't have an NTI, maybe you have a degree in education, what you have is enough. Because if you want to get these international certifications, for example, the one from the US, by the way, I got the two licenses I got from the comfort of my home in Nigeria. I did not have to travel to anywhere to get those. First of all, like I said earlier, I was a TA, so I was low on funds, not like I had a lot of money. So adding that cost of travel, I wasn't ready to do that. So
Exactly.
I needed to be able to source those certifications from states in the US that would issue to internationally trained teachers without having them to, write any exam. So in the US, you would normally write praxis to be
Yes.
able to get your teaching license. So I was not
Yes.
ready to take praxis. I just wanted a state that would look at what I have and then give me what I needed. And there are actually states like that. So at the moment when I did mine, which was in 2011, the
Yes.
state of Hawaii was issuing licenses to internationally trained teachers. So all I needed was my NTI, which is my PGCE, right? Because they will ask for a state approved teacher preparatory program. An
Yes.
NTI or your BEd is a teacher preparatory program because you've done your teaching practice and all that. And
Yes.
so the first step is usually to evaluate your result because the grading system in the US is different from that of Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Our results don't really mean they don't understand it. So they have to, translate it to something they can interpret. Right. So if you're doing your evaluation, I did mine with ECE at the time. West is the most
Mhm.
common one, the most popular one.
Yes.
And for licenses, what you do is a course by course evaluation. So they go through all the courses you did in your postgraduate or in your BSc. So I had to send the one for my bachelor's and I sent the one for my NTI. And that's for the evaluation, right? And they had to grade everything, translate it to the equivalent of the American what's it called, grading system. So with that,
Yes.
I qualified to earn it because everything I had showed that I was a trained, qualified.
Teacher.
So I got the license. So yeah. But for the UK, it's a bit different. See, right? Eye rolling. For the
Oh.
UK, it's a bit different because I remember when I got my first license, I applied
Hmm.
for CS in the UK. That was in 2011.
They
And
will say no.
I wasn't given. So at the point, they didn't give to Nigeria and all these other countries. So then when I became a teacher, I had to do a program that was by choice because with teaching you get your PD funds if you work in international school,
Yes.
money allocated for your professional development. So one of the things I did was to do Teach Now. So Teach Now is another teacher certification program.
I know them.
I really enjoyed the program honestly because there's an aspect where you actually teach in the classroom, record your teaching, have it assessed. You have a mentor at your school, and then your lecturer also at the what's
University.
at the university. And learning was really like I had classmates from all parts of the world. Some teachers were in
Yes.
Vietnam, in Asia, in Europe, in the US, and all that. So and we worked together. They make sure you work together as a team, right? And there's a part where you also do your presentations.
Oh,
So it was 9 months of like it was really draining,
intense.
yeah, tense, but I totally enjoyed the experience. So at the end of that program, with what I haven't gotten the license now, but at the end of that program, you're qualified to be able to get your teaching license from I think about 3 states in the US: Arizona, DC, and I think Hawaii and one other state. I already had a license. So, and then I had a Teach Now, which now served as something to show that I am an American trained.
Trained teacher.
So then I was able to apply for my QTS, not as a Nigerian now, but as an American
Okay.
trained teacher. And then that was how I was able to get the QTS, still from the comfort of my home. Everything was
I'm
from
telling you,
go
so many things.
anywhere.
It's when I tell people that it's so easy to get into teaching, especially now. The requirements the requirements are low now. I mean, if it was now I was getting my qualifications, no, I would. I don't know. I think I'll do it 4 times. 4 times because back then, intense does not even start to describe it because oh my God.
And the fact that there are not a lot of people that look like you, because I remember I was the only person in my class from.
Exactly. And because of that, you skyrocket, you shoot up because it's all about diversity and inclusion.
Yeah,
Say it, sister.
yeah,
Diversity and inclusion. Yes, diversity and inclusion. You see me, I'm running, I'm in front. And that's why I'm trying to encourage people come in now. Diversity and inclusion is at its peak now. This
yeah.
is the time for us to get in there and be motivated. So,
Okay.
What word are you leaving for my audience today? What are you giving to them? We need wisdom from you today.
Okay. So for those who are aspiring to, come into teaching, it's an interesting profession. And gone are the days when they say your blessing is in heaven, or how did they used to say the blessing of a teacher is in heaven, or whatever. You can actually teach,
Mine
and
is here.
yeah, you can actually teach and go through the process and get your blessings here on earth. And then if you're already a teacher in Nigeria and you're looking to, you know, teaching in the diaspora, there are different opportunities. You can follow, you already follow Diaspora Doodles if you're watching this video. She has a lot of information. Like she will always say, go where you're wanted. But for me, I would say that whatever it is you have home back home, whatever certification, qualification, experience you have back home is enough for you to get started. All you need to do is be confident. Yes, that confidence is very important. And you need to make sure that you're grounded, you know your onions. Because if you're going outside the shores of Nigeria, you want to represent where you're coming from very well. And if you do not know what you're doing, then you cannot go far. So you need to be really grounded in your whatever area it is you work in. You need to be really grounded. Go with confidence, go with God, and then you need to upgrade your skills and know what you're doing. And then the sky is your limit. You go
Fantastic.
beyond the skies, I think.
In fact, you break it, shatter, shatter it. Oh, I'm so happy that you've come on here today. I am really, really grateful. And I will look forward to when you and I will talk about behavior management as a whole.
Yes.
You will cover the behavior management for the lower primary,
For me.
and I will cover the behavior management for upper primary and secondary because I've done all the way to year 10.
Wow.
I know. Whew. I was going where I was needed.
Yeah. And getting the opportunity as well, because not all schools will offer you that opportunity, like to work
Yes.
with older schools. I mean, older kids.
Yes, yes. I
Some
think
of
I
those
was,
some of those classrooms are termed like ESPA classes. Like
yes,
you need to be from a particular region to be able to teach there. So it's good.
it is
Well
good.
done. Well done.
Thank you so
You're doing
much for
a
coming on here today. Do you know what?
excellent.
Red carpet for the next time you come on again. So thank you everyone for watching us today and joining in our conversation. I mean, it started out like interview style, but then it ended up with like
Very
chatting, just
experienced.
chilling. I hope you guys finished your drink and got another one. Mine has gone halfway. So yeah, thank you so much, and we shall see you in the next episode. Bye.